It's just that simple roasted beet with a balsamic vinaigrette mixed in. Okay. Asparagus is one of the first spring vegetables, one of my favorite spring vegetables, and it really doesn't need much. You know, it's such a beautiful, flavorful vegetable that you really just want to keep it simple when it comes to asparagus. So we're going to start by just cutting off the ends of these, the kind of tough woody ends, and then we're going to put the spears in a steamer. And then that is just gonna, it's got some water in the bottom here, and we're just gonna put that on the stove and let it steam for about 5-7 minutes. Check on it to make sure it doesn't get overdone. While your asparagus is steaming, you can get your beets ready. You can just make this with using just one beet, or you could do a couple and make a bigger batch. I find that a really easy way to roast a beet is just to put it in the oven. And all you have to do is cut off that stem end and the root end, wrap it up in a piece of foil, and then just stab it a few times with a paring knife, and then put it in an oven. You can roast them at 350, 400. You might want to put something under it, like a pan or a piece of foil or something, because sometimes these juices will drip out into your oven. And then just do that for about 30 minutes and check on it. You want it to be not mushy or anything, but just nice and tender and cooked throughout. And then while your beet is cooking and your asparagus is cooking, we're going to make a quick vinaigrette. This is 6 tablespoons of olive oil, and I've already pre-measured it and put it in this jar because we're going to do the whole thing in a jar. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons, a nice balsamic vinegar. We're going to put in a little bit of Dijon mustard. You could use any style of mustard in this. This is just what I happen to have. And then I like to add a little honey to my salad dressing. I feel like it kind of cuts that acidic edge a little bit. I'm not going to measure this, about a half a teaspoon or so. Then we'll want salt. And you could also add herbs and pepper and any sorts of things that you like to this vinaigrette. Really just your favorite vinaigrette will work for this. Even if it's store-bought, I think that would be okay. This recipe, I first learned about it, first had it out at my brother-in-law's house. I just thought it was so elegant and beautiful. And he says he just uses his favorite store-bought vinaigrette for his. But I like to make my own because it is so simple. There's your vinaigrette, it's done. I've cooked the beet, I've peeled the beet, and I've sliced the beet. It's a little bit of a mess, as beets always are. So we're gonna puree that a little bit, chop it up a little bit in the food processor. You could do this in a blender too. And then we're gonna add some of this vinaigrette that we mixed up. And this you're gonna do by sight. You are not gonna measure this because it's really up to you, the consistency that you want. I think we're gonna want a little bit more. So what you're looking for is something kind of saucy, but not too runny. I think that's about how you want it. I'm gonna check on that asparagus. Bright green, gorgeous. You want to take the asparagus off the heat while it's nice and bright like this. And once this is done, you can transfer it to a container and it will keep for a while. That vinegar acts as a preservative. But this is definitely a dish that you can make ahead of time. You can cook the asparagus, chill it. You could cook this ahead of time and chill it or leave it at room temp. And then when it comes time to serve, all the elements are ready. And so you just want to arrange your asparagus on the plate, and then you just put a little stripe across, and there you have it. And you just want to kind of dip it in there to make sure you got some of that beet on there. The beet is so sweet, but then with the vinaigrette, you've got that tang, so it really balances out. And it's just a wonderful complement for a vegetable that's really great on its own, but this is a really nice complement to it, and it looks pretty. It's a wonderful thing to serve as a first course for a picnic or dinner party or something like that. You can follow us on social media at Earth Eats. You can also subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.